Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my first Q&A leading up to Fear the Walking Dead Season 2. Just coming off of seeing the finale for Season 1, The Good Man. Wow. Okay, so spoiler warning if you guys have not seen The Good Man yet, definitely. I've done a couple videos, did the review for it. It's in the channel. Check that out if you want to see my full review for the finale of the first season. Also, the predictions video for what I think is going to happen in Season 2, which is an extremely hard thing to say because we really are going from a blank sheet of paper at this point. They could literally do probably anything they want with it, and it's hard for us to predict where they're going to go next with the story for Fear of Dead. But definitely want to do at least a first Q&A with you guys, getting to hear some of your reactions, getting to see where people are at right now in the series, how they felt about the finale, and a little bit surprised that not everybody was actually that fond of the finale. So we'll get into a few of those questions, and you guys keep sending me your questions. We'll do some more Q&As leading up to Season 2. I'll keep a tracker for this one. Who knows how many I'll do for Fear of the Walking Dead. I'm going to split them with Walking Dead, Fear of the Walking Dead. I'm going to keep them separate because, you know, at this point, after Episode 6, I really feel like Fear the Walking Dead has established itself as its own individual show, as its own individual, standout series, to where it's not just a tack on. And I mean, like, obviously it's its own series, but it's not just a companion or a spin-off as they've been referring to it so far as, online and everything. But I feel like it's established itself as a legitimate individual show, separate from the original Walking Dead, that can stand on its own and is really great quality, especially after the finale. So let's go into a few of your guys' questions. Like I said, keep sending them to me for future Q&As. Also, Walking Dead Season 6 questions are fine too, because of course that's coming up next weekend. I can't wait. First question is from RiotnRespect. Thanks for all your support over the years, by the way, Riot. I appreciate you watching the videos, looking out for the reviews and doing everything you've done. Thanks for sticking with me for a few years, man. It's awesome. I think at least 2 or 3 years minimum he's been watching the channel for, so that's pretty cool. His question is, on Talking Dead, they hinted at Madison possibly being related to Rick, or at least somebody in the main show. If she happens to be related to Rick, how do you think that would play into future seasons of both shows? Man, that's tough. Geez, that's tough. Well, the thing with it is, right now with the original Walking Dead series, we are a couple years into the zombie apocalypse. We are way far ahead from where Fear the Walking Dead is currently at. So unless we see some huge time skip where the characters from Fear the Walking Dead just go set sail for like a year or something, it would be really hard for them to cross over because of the time, chronologically, the sequence would be really weird to kind of do any kind of crossover with at this point. It even feels weird for the webisodes because you have like the plane webisode with the flight, and then you have The Walking Dead, which airs this weekend, but they're chronologically at different points. So it's pretty weird that the thought of them kind of crossing over, and possibly Madison, even because she's got a southern accent or what have you. Kim Dickens is, I guess she's played roles like that in the past for, and Gone Girl, it was similar. She had an accent too. I think it was like southern or something of the sort. Her being related to Rick, and in what way, and how would that work? And I don't know. That would just be, would they be ever able to find each other in the TV series universe? I would tend to think no, just because of the timing just would never make sense, for that to happen. So for me, I don't think anything will ever come of it. I think it'll be something where we'll hear people talking about kind of these possibilities and things like this, but I don't think we will ever see the shows fully cross over to the point where you have certain characters from Fear in the original in episodes, or vice versa. It just doesn't seem to make sense to me, unless it's a character like Morales or something that left way earlier and we never saw, and then came into another, and came into Fear or something. Aside from that, it'd be really hard for them to cross over the two. And Kirkman has said, as somebody replied to his comment, that we won't see the two cross over. So could she be a cousin of Rick or something? Well, I guess so, but it's like, whatever. The character doesn't even exist in the comic book series, which is the original, so it doesn't really make much sense to me. Next one's from Kenny Schultz, and he says, now the question is, who dies next, Travis or Chris? One of them has to die to complete the other's arc. They have already come halfway with the death of Travis's ex-wife. Who's it gonna be? Please discuss. That's a great question, man. That's probably one for its own video. What I'll do is I will do a death predictions for season 2 of Fear of the Walking Dead. I will, and who I think it will be. Now, is there? It's gonna be hard to do because they may not even have decided yet. Like at this current time of me filming this video, they may not have an idea of what's going to be the next big character death because the writers haven't finished writing season 2 yet, or they probably haven't even started at this point, I wouldn't think. So they may have an idea of what they want to do, but probably nothing concrete yet. And as we saw in the original Walking Dead, the idea of killing Carol and some of the other characters they were thinking about killing, and kind of were last minute changes, they didn't end up doing that. And look at how the effect has been, right? Crazy. So it could go in a lot of different ways. But for his question here, so between the two, who do I think would die sooner? Man, after what we've seen from Travis in the finale, it almost seems like he's our Rick for this new show. When I thought it was Madison, at the beginning it seemed like it would be, but it seems like now Travis might be the one. Also with the sniper scope and the concentration on him kind of being the mayor or whatever leader in that, and, kind of this whole idea of him showing how weak he was at the beginning and us getting to see him transform. Maybe Chris has to be killed off too. I don't know if Chris is kind of like Carl in that way. I don't know if he's a character like that. I don't know if we're ever going to see that from him. So, but it's such a tough call, man, because I really thought earlier on that it would make sense that they might kill Travis off. That was one of my predictions, was my thoughts. Completely not true, completely not correct. But, we're drawing predictions from just hunches that we're going on and things like that because we have nothing concrete yet to predict from. But I will do a death predictions for you guys anyway, just give you guys some kind of thoughts, on it, even though it's early. Why not? It'll be fun. Talk about who could die and who would make sense. All right, let's see. Next one will be from Iron Entertainment. And he says, where the hell is Tobias? So some people think Tobias was actually killed in the light that was going off that Chris noticed, and you saw the military come in and shoot somebody there. So some people think that Tobias might have been there, and he might have been the one that was killed there. I guess we'll have to, we'll probably never know that if that was the case. But I really did feel like he was going to be a character they were going to use. The only way they could still use him is if they stay in LA and they don't leave somewhere else permanently. So if they stay in LA and he's somehow held out there, like at the school or something, because we did see Tobias go back to the school. So that's the location that he knows, and he knows has a lot of supplies. So he may be smart enough to decide, hey, why don't I just go live there and ride this thing out? That's my best bet. So maybe Tobias is there, or who knows, maybe Madison will go back there sometime. Maybe we could see them run into each other again. I think that'd be really cool. And, like the original Walking Dead, there's very few characters that were in the show earlier on and then went ahead and, just kind of disappeared to never be seen again. Most of them came back. Merle came back, and a lot of the others came back, and we got to see their kind of final conclusion. Morgan as well. The only one really is Morales that we really don't know what happened to him and his family from earlier on. He's like pretty much the last one, I want to say, that we have no idea. So maybe we'll see them use that eventually at some point in time, but maybe not as well. It's getting pretty late now. People have probably forgotten about it by now for the most part. Next one is going to be from Letmeknow, and this is more of a comment. He says, they definitely saved all their budget for this episode, LOL. And I absolutely agree with him 100%. They most definitely did, for sure. And it was worth it too. It turned out well. It's just that when we're looking at a series when the season's not finished yet, and we're giving our thoughts on it, we could feel a certain way about it at that time when we're analyzing it. But then when we get further on through, it's like, okay, now it makes sense. Now we see all the pieces come together, and now it makes more sense to analyze it and kind of reflect, right? So that's one thing, with the channel. I do a lot of topics in between, weeks, and to try to produce content for you guys almost every day. And that happens sometimes because, I'm making those videos at that time. And how are we feeling at that exact time? One certain way, maybe another. And, then we get a great episode like that. And it just blows everything away that we were thinking before. It changes the whole situation, which the finale certainly did for Fear of the Walking Dead, definitely. Next one's from Kenny Schultz. And he says, same with Kenny, he did one before. He's got the quote, Nick, are you insane? And there's silence, and then Nick says, Strand. And then Strand says, only way to survive a mad world is to embrace the madness. And then Nick said, is that a yes? Awkward ass look. He says he laughed. So I wanted to include that in there too, because that was a great line. There was a lot of them, like Nick afterwards talking about how, he feels like he belongs in that world, like, because his in regular reality, he felt like he was going nuts. So he felt like that was kind of the way reality was, and everybody else was kind of like everyone had everything under control. And now he feels like everyone's kind of coming down to his kind of, type of reality where everything is not so certain. It's more chaotic, and there's just some great lines in the finale. It's well written, it's well acted, it looks great, lots of action, lots of craziness, and it was just an amazing finale that I did not think we were going to get. So I was more than satisfied with that. I was very happy because it exceeded my expectations by leaps and bounds for sure, at least for me. Next one's from Wrecked, and he says, did anyone notice how they doomed their neighborhood by leaving the gate open? I didn't notice that. No, I personally did not notice that, but that's funny if you think about it, that if they did not close the gate, yeah, they would be totally, everybody there is going to be screwed because they let out all those zombies who are going to find their way there eventually, one way or another. There's just so many of them, how could they not? And then we'll do a couple more. This one's from Noah Smith, and he says, this episode was truly awesome. When Nick, Strand, and Madison, Travis, Daniel, Ophelia were on opposite sides of the door, and the zombies were coming towards Nick and Strand. It was so good. For the first time, fear actually made me feel afraid. Me too. I thought for sure that the scene would be the end of Nick. Him telling his mom to leave him behind was heartbreaking. It was quick, but you're right. I agree with you 100%. And I was thinking the same thing at that time, like, oh shit, they might actually kill Nick off, because it is a finale, and we knew we were probably going to get some kind of death. I was thinking that because of the slower pace, they may not even do one at all. But once they got into the faster pace, I started thinking, okay, this is where we're going with this, so they'll probably do something big because they're really going for it, and definitely they're getting it. So this one's, the rest of what he says, the best part, though, was the flashing lights and the epic background music in that scene. The kitchen scene was so awesome, especially when Ophelia killed the zombie with the hammer thing. Also, for once, I didn't hate Alicia and Chris, as they actually added a lot to the episode. That's from Noah Smith. Great comment. Wanted to include that in there as well because, again, that's like a reaction, and we're kind of talking about your guys' reaction in this one. Because, oh man, yeah, definitely great finale, at least for me anyway. But I did see some people in the comments that were still not happy with Fear the Walking Dead after the finale because the first part of the season was a bit slower. For me right now, I'm like, well, it was. I liked the beginning because I was like, okay, we're getting to know the characters, we're getting to care for them. And I was okay with them not having too many zombies earlier on. The military kind of caught me by surprise because I didn't think we were going to see that, but it's not bad to throw us through a loop. And then the episode 4 and 5, yeah, they weren't by themselves, they weren't the best. But when you look at them with the add-on of the finale, you realize that it's like, okay, they were doing something huge in the finale, and that's where the budget went. That's what they used it for. And the episodes 4 and 5, as a result, were just a little bit slower. But they weren't bad either. If you look at my scores for them, they're pretty good. So overall, I'm really pleased with the first season, as a whole. But we'll talk about it in the full season review. And one last comment for today's. This one's from Yost Fraz, and he says, Trev Chan is a machine. So thanks, man. I appreciate it, and I keep doing my thing with you guys. Going on 5 years now, so I'm going to keep producing and keep doing lots of videos for you guys, as I always have done, as I always will do, pretty much. For YouTube going forward for the channel, because I enjoy it. I love talking with you guys. Something that I really have a passion for. I don't have a lot of extra time because my schedule is crazy. Like seriously, if you saw my schedule, you'd be like, wow, I can't believe that. You do so much work and stuff, especially when I got to work overtime in my job. But if I got to sleep 6 or 7 hours and just go right through, that's fine. It's rewarding and it's what I love, and absolutely. So thanks for the support, man. So keep sending me your guys' questions for more future Fear the Walking Dead Q&As. I'll cut this one here. We'll do the review for Season 1 as a whole soon. And, of course, we'll get ready for this weekend coming up for The Walking Dead Season 6. I absolutely can't wait. If you guys like the video, please thumb it up below. If you want to support the channel, please share. Please favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe at the bottom left. That's it for today's Q&A. I'll see you guys again probably tomorrow. As always, it's Trev saying peace.